Good morning. Hey, everybody. How is everybody today? My name's Debbie. Welcome to my channel. We are on I forgot. What part? 24 of the Betty Broderick trial. If you're not familiar with this trial, this is a woman that killed her ex-husband and his new wife because she thought that until everything was done with a divorce, that she was technically still married. Like all the child support stuff, all the alimony settlement, all of that. Everything had to be completely 100% done, or she was still Mrs. Betty Broderick. Whoops, sorry. So, she wasn't having it until everything was exactly perfect the way she wanted it. And it never got that way, and so she just took a gun over to their house and took care of it the way she wanted to take care of it. She's crazy, y'all. So, let's see. Who is here? Hey, Judy. Hey, Marty. Hey, Jennifer. Let's see. Do you have trivia, Judy? Yes, you do. At Betty's parole hearing, Dan Jr. argued against releasing her. He said that she still did not show remorse. He stated she is hung up on justifying what she did rather than accepting responsibility. Wow. I feel so bad for these kids. And I know they're not kids now, but can you imagine having to harbor that? I don't think they hate. I don't know, maybe they do hate their mom, but to harbor those feelings in your heart your entire life. My husband has to do that too. It's very sad. Very, very sad. And I watched him go through this thing when his dad died. Because you love your parent that did that, even though you're mad at them for doing that, you know? Oh, Michigan. I don't even want to talk about that. It makes me sad. Hey, Wiggles. It makes me very sad. It makes me sad and mad at the same time. Oh, So, I just watched a thing. I wanted to watch the whole thing, but I didn't have time. This happened in Canada. It was a party that... Hey, Carla. It was some kind of party, but she had to pay a fee, or not a fee, but like a ticket to get in, and she had to drive to get there, so she had to give it like 4 o'clock in the morning to drive to this party. They called it a party. I don't know what kind of event it was, but a party. Anyway, she had braids in her hair, they were like little braids, and then they were braided into a big braid. It was really pretty. And she had like pieces of wool like braided into her hair too. It was really, really pretty. But so she's driven. I don't know what time the event started, so I don't know, but she got up at 4 in the morning to drive to this event. So hours to drive. She paid a ticket to get in. And then when she got there, they wouldn't let her in because, no, this was a white woman. They wouldn't let her in because she had braids in her hair. And they said it was cultural appropriation. And they wouldn't let her in, and they would not refund her money because she had braids in her hair. Now, this was in America. This was in Canada. But still, what is wrong with this world today, y'all? Braids. White people can't wear braids in their hair now? What is happening? I don't understand what is happening. I want the 80s back. Can I please have the 80s back? Oh my word. I mean, I understand if you're making fun of it, but it was a fashion choice and it was beautiful. I don't. I'm sorry, but I think Dylan Mulvaney makes fun of women. Like, and I'm not knocking gender dysphoria as an absolutely horrible thing to have. I personally don't think that Dylan Mulvaney has gender dysphoria. I think that he is doing it for the money. That's just my personal opinion. And I feel like he's making fun of women or appropriating our culture as women. And he's making a fortune doing it. Nobody says anything to him. Or her. I'm sorry. Her. But braids. Come on, people. Oh my God. Well, I'm from the South, so the chances of me having an American in my bloodline somewhere is probably really good. I know your hair is gorgeous, Carla. Oh, StreamYard's not going to let me share it. My hair is almost 3 feet long, and I can comfortably wear it is to keep it off my neck on hot days in a braid. Maybe I should just do pigtails. What kind of sandwich maker? Please tell me you're not talking about a woman, Marty. please, please tell me you're talking about a machine that makes sandwiches. Okay, wait. She looks familiar. Were they done with her testimony? I could have sworn this was the next video. Okay, this video right here that says 35 with the lady with the really bad hair. That narrows it down, doesn't it? Witness testimony part 4. I think that's the one that we're on.
Could you please state your full name for the record and spell your last name?
Oh, wait a minute. Did we stop in the middle of that one? It's been so long, I don't remember. Oh, we did. My bad. I'm sorry. I wrote it down. Hang on a minute. I'm not awake yet, y'all. That is a really bad freeze frame right there.
Please state your full name for the record and spell your last name.
Phyllis Jardell, J.
Yay, it's Monday. These are all the trials that we've done. Well, that I've done. You guys haven't been here for all of them. So I've done 18, including the one we're working on now. 18. And then I've done 3 trials of the past. So 21 trials. And you know what? I do not know the anniversary date, so I cannot tell you how long I've been doing trials, y'all. Ashley Benefield was the first one I did. So whatever date that trial was. But I was running out of room. I had to go buy a new notebook. I should, that hair is very unfortunate, yes. So I need to figure out my 1-year anniversary date so we can do something. I don't know what we would do, but we should do something. Unless it's already passed, which is very possible.
You know the lady at the end of the console table here, Betty Broderick?
Yes, I do.
And when did you first, do you remember what year you first met Betty?
In the early 70s.
Okay. And how did the two of you happen to meet?
She was working at St. Columba, and my husband's Aunt Joan was a teacher there, and she asked me if I would babysit her daughters.
Okay. And where were you living at that time?
On Mission, on Melbourne Drive.
Just what part of town?
Oh, yes, it was.
Okay. And what grades did it go through, do you know?
I think 9th grade at that time.
Okay. What grade was she teaching?
I think maybe the 3rd grade, I'm not sure.
Okay. And did she also have another job during the time that you met her?
Yes, she was a hostess for the Black Angus.
Okay. And did you maintain a friendship with Betty after that period of time?
beach. We had households that, didn't have a lot of money, so we go thrift shops and shop, for the kids' clothes and stuff like that. And she was active in all, different sports and stuff.
Okay, were those with the children?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. Was she someone who was spending?
Bye, Carla. Good luck.
No, she didn't have a lot of money to spend. Neither one of us did.
Okay. And were you aware of any medical problems that she had at that time?
Yes, as I said, she had 2 daughters, and I had 2 daughters about the same age. And she kept getting, pregnant, and she had varicose veins that were really bad. And she kept having, like, miscarriages and even carried a baby to term, and it died.
Did you and your family socialize with the Brodericks?
Yes.
Did during the time that you were there, did Mr. Broderick?
No, his ambition was he wanted to, objection under close for hearsay discrimination.
Understand. Okay. Was he involved with his children? Just
No.
okay. Did you know them to Coral Reef?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the when the years they first moved in there? How was Coral Reef furnished?
Really?
Because I'm an idiot. Thank you, Wiggles. Because StreamYard muted it, and I unmuted my mic. They muted the mic and they muted the browser audio, and I unmuted myself and forgot to unmute the court. Thank you for accepting that answer.
Pregnant, and she had varicose veins that were.
Now I have to go back and start over.
Okay, and what was she teaching?
I think maybe the 3rd grade, I'm not sure.
Okay, and did she also have another job during the time that you met her?
Yes, she was the hostess for the Black Angus.
Okay. And did you maintain a friendship with Betty after that period of time?
Yes, all through the 70s.
Okay, and what kind of activities did you do together?
Well, we both had young children. It was like, going to the beach. We had households that, didn't have a lot of money, so we go thrift shops and shop, for the kids' clothes and stuff like that. And she was active in all, different sports and stuff.
Was she someone who was spending a lot of money?
No, she didn't have a lot of money to spend. Neither one of us did.
Okay. And were you aware of any medical problems that she had at that time?
Yes, as I said, she had 2 daughters, and I had 2 daughters about the same age. And she kept getting, pregnant, and she had varicose veins that were really bad. And she kept having, like, miscarriages and even carried a baby to term, and it died.
Okay. Did you and your family socialize with the Brodricks?
Yes.
Okay. Did during the time that you were there, was Mr. Broderick involved with the children?
No, at that point in his life, his ambition was he wanted to.
Objection under close for hearsay discrimination.
Sustained. Okay. Was he involved with his children? Just
No.
okay. Did you know them at the when they moved to Coral Reef?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the when the years they first moved in there? How was Coral Reef furnished?
was just, people gave them, just odds and ends.
During the time that you knew her, what was her attitude towards Dan?
I really didn't think they had, basic arguments like everybody, but they seemed to get along, real well. I never heard arguments. I never heard cuss words or anything.
Okay. Would you say this?
No.
Did you ever see an injury to Mrs. Broderick?
Yes.
And what did you see?
She had a black eye.
Okay. Did she ever tell you how this occurred?
No, I asked her, but she didn't really, she just said it was an accident, and it's embarrassing enough anyway, so I just didn't pry.
Okay. Did year this happened?
About 76.
I have no further questions.
Cross down.
You indicated that the defendant would throw lavish parties. What is it that you're talking about? Are you talking about during this period of time?
No, I only, if I'm,
Page 2.
oh, this was an Easter party, the one time when he finally went out on his own. See,
Do you recall when this was that she threw? You've just described that she threw lavish parties, correct?
well, I didn't mean parties. I was talking about clear. They'd finally gotten some money, and she threw a big Easter party,
Okay.
and it was mainly for the.
And when you're talking about the time that you knew her, the period of time you're talking about was in the
The
early.
late 70s when he started making some money.
Okay. And during that period of time, when you said you had a friendship with her, how many times, for example, would you be over at the house during the week where Dan would be home?
During the week? Well, I'm thinking of when I was babysitting and she was working. You mean after that period of time?
Well, at any period of time, how many times would you be there? I mean, Dan obviously worked full-time. He worked during the day,
Right.
correct? And so when would be the times that you would see him?
Would be like if we went over for dinner sometimes, or on weekends more likely.
Okay, example, see how he interacted with the children.
No, I was there in the evening several times.
Okay, when Dan would come home from work.
Right.
Okay. When was it that they moved to court? Were you there when did you know her when she moved to Coral?
Yes. I was trying to think. I'm not sure because it wasn't too long after they first moved out because they looked at the Coral Reef home. When they purchased it, it didn't have anything. It was just like a brand new home.
Okay.
No fences, nothing.
Now the injury to the black eye, when you saw that, when was that? What year is that?
About around 76.
Okay, and how is it that you remember it was in 76?
Well, I know it wasn't when I first met her, and it wasn't later on. I think it was when Dan was still working for the law firm, and he worked for 2 years there when he first moved out.
And when you saw it, did you ask her what happened?
Yes, I did.
And what was her specific response?
She just said she really didn't want to talk about it. It was an accident.
Okay. Did you ever talk about it at all with her later after that?
No, Betty was not something. It was just a question I had.
And you indicated that during the times that you saw them together, you never heard them arguing, you never heard any disagreements.
Not really. Sometimes when, like, we were there for dinner, and he was 2 hours late, and he had been out having some drinks and discussing business, according to him. She was a little upset, but no, there was no, we had dinner and everything went fine. I'm sure there was no yelling or screaming or anything like that.
Witness be excused.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Shake this time.
Yeah.
You do solemnly swear the testimony about to give in the matter before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Ma'am, could you please state your full name for the record and spell your last name?
Melanie Coors, C-O-H-R-S.
Do you know the lady here at the end of the council table, Betty Broderick?
Yes, I do.
And do you know approximately when you met her?
Yes, it was in either 78 or 79.
What is your occupation?
I'm an interior designer.
Is there such thing as a interior decorators or designer license?
No,
Okay.
not in the state of California.
How did you happen to meet?
I owned a store in La Jolla at that particular time, and she used to shop.
Okay. First met her, how would you describe her?
I would describe her as a fun, happy person, but most of the time when she'd come in, she'd be in a hurry because she was concerned about her children and she had to go.
Was she someone that was wearing fancy clothes? Or?
No, I either saw her in jeans or jogging suits or sweatshirt suits or things like that.
Did you meet Dan?
Yes, I did.
Was her friend of Betty?
Yes, as things progressed and they had purchased or were thinking of purchasing Coral Reef, she had asked me to help with the house and some architectural things. And then when I saw, and at that time I came to know that she was separating from Dan, and she and I became quite close from that point for several years after that.
What year would have that been?
That would have been, I'm sorry, Calle de Cielo.
Okay. And did you see any changes in Betty at the time after their separation?
Objection, Your Honor, this is being careful.
Ma'am, we'll road you answer that.
Yes. She was very upset. She would go into periods of depression. I noticed my job to because when I go over there, she would be in a state.
Okay. And would you visit her at her home in La Jolla?
Yes.
Okay. And how often would you say you saw her during the week or month after her separation?
Sometimes it was 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes I wouldn't see her for a month.
Okay.
I'd see her once a month.
Can you, now, you indicated that you got more involved with her at the time that she purchased Calle de Cielo. Was there a reason for that?
Well, at first it was because the house was in such bad shape, and I was called in on a conference with an architect and Betty to see what we could do to change the house interiorly.
Okay. Can you describe the condition of the home when she first moved into it?
Well, apparently there'd been a large family living there, and they had taken and put up like partitions in some of the rooms, and they were divided and almost like a, I don't know, room, and they've compartmentalized it, and there were separate bedrooms or one room that she later came to use the family room, I think was made into 3 bedrooms. The garage also had a couple of bedrooms in it.
Or sadness.
Okay. Was there any furniture in the house the first 3 or 4 months that you can remember?
No,
Do you know where she was sleeping?
on the floor.
Do you know how long it took her to furnish the house?
She hadn't completely furnished it by the time she was moving out. Little by little, I know that it was empty, fairly empty for quite a while. And also one day she got tired of not having any furniture in the living room, so she went out and bought everything.
Okay. Was it expensive furniture that she was buying?
Not very much, no.
Okay. Did she make any improvements to the house?
Yes, a lot of landscaping and added on a room in the back.
Do you know what the purpose of those improvements were?
Well, for several reasons. The house itself wasn't very interesting. Her dream house had been more of a colonial style, and this house wasn't that way. So the white picket fence in the front was added for that reason, and the landscaping was pretty bad, so she had done a lot with that. And then the backyard, which was totally devoted to children's activities, and the cabana or pool house that was built in the back was definitely made for parties. It was a dream for children to have a party.
Okay. Did you feel that she was someone who was a talented person, or someone who was...
I think she needed help to get things together properly. The house was nice, but it wasn't as nice as it could have been. And I'm not saying that she had to spend any more money either.
But there was never any time where, did you talk to her about going into partnerships as an interior decorator?
At one time, there's a organization or what do you call them, franchise called Decorating Den. And she had read an article, I think in the New York Times or somewhere, because that was her favorite newspaper, I know, or the Wall Street Journal. And it was just starting up at that time, and she said, hey, why don't I buy a van and we can go around and do this? And I said, well, she was going to meet with this person that was starting this up, and I said, well, the designing and decorating business is a little more complicated than you really think it is. And we talked about it a little bit, but I was definitely telling her that it's not exactly an easy thing to do, and I really didn't think she should do it, especially since I think the beginning startup costs.
Excuse me, I'm becoming
It's sustained.
Were you?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know about over what period of time did you hear these messages?
A couple years.
Okay. And can you describe those messages?
Well, there's one in particular that I can't get out of my head, and that is one that I heard Rhett on the phone crying and calling for his mother and asking for help and saying that he was going to hurt me. And then all of a sudden there was a click and the phone went dead. And
Sustained.
Can you describe Betty's reactions?
well, Betty went nuts. Betty went berserk and immediately went to the phone and tried to call them back. And of course, she got an answering machine.
Did were you around the house when she would have to take the boys back to their fathers after visits?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the...
They're happy. Again, there was one particular time, again, I get out of my head, that went crying and saying, Mommy, please don't send me back. I don't want to go back there. I hate it. It's awful. Please don't send me back. And she started to cry herself and said, I have to. If I don't, they'll put me in jail again.
Okay. Did you hear her use profanity?
Yes.
Okay. How often would this occur?
Well, I don't think it was a primary thing. Occasionally, most of the time she was having fun with the children and playing with the children. But occasionally the cloud would come over the group, and that's whenever Dan or Linda were brought up, that the profanity would come out.
Okay. Did you try to get Betty to make plans socially?
Yes, all the time.
And were there problems with that?
Yes, it became increasingly more difficult.
Did it have anything to do with the children?
Yes. It was a very sporadic thing because I'd say, go out to dinner, and she'd say, I can't, the kids are coming this weekend. And I'd say, great, and she'd be all happy. And then a couple of days later, she'd call and she'd say, they didn't come or they weren't able to come. And then, so the next week I said, well, it's all right, let's do this, or there would be some kind of a thing where you might even have to pay. There were several particular social events that were expensive ones, and it didn't matter if you didn't come with an escort, that she would buy tickets on a couple of occasions that she would just lose her money on the ticket and she couldn't go. She'd stay home with the children.
Did you ever see her reaction to getting legal papers in the mail?
Oh, yes.
Well, what kind of reactions would you see?
It was out to a movie or out to dinner or something, and during dinner she got very upset, and I kept saying, well, what's wrong? And she said, I got some papers today, and she said, they're going to send me back to jail. And I said, are you sure? And she said, yes, I think they were delivered by a marshal, and they're going to send me back to jail. And I said, well, don't worry about it. Well, just go to your house and pick, because they won't find you there, and we can figure it out and maybe do something about it and talk to your lawyer, or call a lawyer. And so
This woman was just her interior decorator? Like, were they friends before? She just hired her to be her interior decorator? She's awful chummy for just an interior decorator.
we went to her house, and I said, you better let me read it. So I started to read it. Well, it had a little bit to do with it, but it didn't have anything to do with her going to jail. And I got very frightened at that time, because I had always thought that Betty understood all these legal papers, and see that it was evident from this that she didn't much. And this even scared me more later when I knew she was representing herself.
During the years that you knew her, did you see any change in her physical appearance?
Oh, yes. When I first met her, she was a lovely, beautiful, happy person with a darling sense of humor. She was just lots of fun to be around. And little by little, I saw that person dissolve and gain weight and eat compulsively.
Did you see Betty during the summer of 1989?
Yes.
Were you aware of anything she was doing to help her try to get?
Yes. The couple happy about one thing, that part of it was over, and she could concentrate on getting the children back. And try and move forward. But the papers kept coming that I think were partly negative for her.
So during the summer, while she was working to get the boys back, her mood, at least it improved.
It
that
improved for a short period of time, yes, it did.
I have no further questions.
Cross-examine.
See any of these papers that were delivered in the summer of 1989?
It would hard to say that there were always so many papers there, and so I can't tell you what dates or whenever they came.
Well,
I
when-
just knew that things were happening.
But let's just, the summer of 1989. Are you aware of her receiving any papers regarding the
can't.
custody of the children?
Excuse me. It's Monday, y'all. Apparently, I'm not allowed to put any comments on the screen today either.
Just knew that things were happening and more.
Well, let's just talk about the summer of 1989. Are you aware of her receiving any papers regarding the
can't.
custody of the children in the summer of 1989?
I think that she had seen some. Exactly, or I can't say that I physically paid for it.
Okay. And you're aware that she didn't file the others until late September of 1989?
No,
Were you aware that there were no actions going on in court with respect to custody of the boys during the summer?
no.
And when you indicate that there was this one time when she was very upset about receiving some papers and said, they're going to take me back to jail again. And you went back to her house and you sat down and you read the papers, and it was clear to you that they weren't taking her back to jail and nobody was going to take her back to jail, correct?
Right.
That was not the tenor or the content of the papers that she had received.
Right.
Okay. And did you sit down and go over it with her? And
Yes. Yes, and at that time, she had me read quite a few of the other papers from divorce.
Okay. Well, with respect to those papers, it was that they were to jail, and she, from reading those, obviously understand that, correct?
Not necessarily because she had been to jail. I understand the time. I understand when those came.
Well, it was something that was entirely
Oh, no.
unrelated.
Uh, it wasn't unrelated. It was sent. It was to do with the that Dan had.
Anything in that said that she was going to jail?
Not at that particular time, no.
When you read the papers, she was not going to jail.
Yeah.
You've already always described Elisabeth Broderick as being really intelligent. Very bright.
Yes. But you can be intelligent and naive at the same time.
Okay.
And I think that's Betty.
With respect to the decorating of the house, it is true that she received most of the furniture from the Coral Reef house by the time Dan and the kids had moved into Cyprus, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and that was in
Make me turn this car around.
December of 1985.
If that's when it was, yeah.
And then after that period of time, there was, with respect to the house, it was repainted, it was recarpeted, there was new kitchen cabinets put in, new kitchen counters, new linoleum, new canvas overhangings on the outside of the house, new fences, new lights, the pool house in the back, all of that was done post-1985, correct?
Yes, can I clarify a couple of those things?
You-
Like when you say new cabinets in the kitchen, I believe it was just new face. No,
Or she was doing that herself.
she was doing that herself.
So she was making those decisions about how to do those.
Yes, occasionally she would ask my advice. I didn't want to sell her anything. I knew that she had a problem with her cash flow. So, and we also were friends at this time, and I didn't want to be on that kind of a relationship with her.
In fact, didn't you try to talk her into not spending quite so much money?
Yes. I wanted her to wait.
And the phone message that you indicated that you heard from Rhett, that was several years ago, several years before November 5th of 1989, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So it had been sometime maybe in 1986?
it's possible.
And there was a phone call from Rhett, and then you indicated that it hung up, and she was very upset, and she called back. What did she do when she called back?
She, as I said, she went nuts. And at that time, that's when she started screaming into the phone, "Where are my children?" and said the profanity, some profanities, yes.
Do you recall what she said to the phone?
No,
Okay, well, obviously her concern at that point was about Rhett.
yes.
And where are my children?
Right.
Okay, what else was she saying over the phone? Was she yelling profanities about Linda?
Yes,
And
because it was Linda answering the machine.
And how do you know that?
Because
What did
she
do after
said,
that?
you know, "You're on the machine."
Okay. What did she do after that? I mean, there was an answer, and she yelled profanities into the phone, and then what happened?
She said, "I've got to wait. I can't leave." I think we were going to go out, or we were going to do something again. We'd come home, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember how upset she was, and she said, "Now I have to be by the phone. I can't leave."
Okay, but did she do it, if she was concerned about the welfare of Rhett, did she ask you to go over to the house and see how he was? Or did she call another friend to check? Or did she call the police or anything like that?
No.
And the incident that you were, was she was going to send him back November 5th of 1989.
I'm not sure. It's hard for me to, the years sort of run together.
That was several years
Probably
before, too.
88.
Okay. And, I mean, obviously, Rhett loved his mom. I mean, I think that's correct.
Yes, that is
Fair to
correct.
say. And he wanted to visit his mother more than he was being allowed to, correct?
That's correct.
And you were not aware of the situations with respect to the recommendations of the psychologists and why they were recommending that there not be more visitation, correct?
On one occasion I was.
Okay, from what Elisabeth Broderick told you? Or did you talk to the psychologist?
No, from what Elisabeth Broderick told me.
Okay. So you were aware, at least from Elisabeth Broderick, that there would be limited visitation with the defendant, correct?
Not that far. There was just one time where I was there where there was a phone call from a psychologist.
Okay.
And I know that Betty came back and said, "Well, I won't do what the psychologist wants me to do. I cannot live with somebody telling me what to do all the time like this. So she's telling me now I can't have the children this weekend."
Okay. So a psychologist had apparently called her and talked to her and made suggestions or recommendations about what she should do in order to have the children, and she was indicating to you that she wasn't going to do that. Nobody was going to tell her what to do.
She'd been told too much what to do.
Obviously, when Rhett was going back to his dad's, you indicated that she's in jail, right?
That's correct.
Now, obviously, if Fred's upset, he's a little boy. He loves both his parents. He wants to spend time with both his parents. When she's telling him, "I've got to send you back," there's a couple of ways of dealing with that if he's upset, right? There's one over at his house, and
Your Honor, are we going to have... I object, Your Honor.
Sustained, just rephrase your question.
well, did she say anything about Red Honey? Don't worry with your dad. You're going to see me next weekend. Don't worry about it. Calm down and.
That's the one standing right now. That's her attorney. That's Betty's attorney. And the way he just, I forgot what he said. He was about to do a speaking objection. Excuse me. I wonder if I should go to the doctor about all this burping I'm doing. Last night, I was laying in bed and I could not stop burping. I was laying facing Travis and I'm like, I'm going to roll over so I don't keep burping in your face. And I don't know how many more times I burped before I finally fell asleep. This guy right here next to him, that is the other state's attorney. Yeah, he's looking pretty comfortable there, but that's the other state's attorney. And then the guy standing up is her. While they're at separate tables, but it's a small courtroom, so it looks like they're all sitting there together.
Our objection assumes facts, not evidence.
I'm asking.
One question, you answer that.
Did she say that at this particular?
I'm sure she said, I know that she said, calm down, don't worry about it, but I'm sure that she never would have said, your father loves you.
Were you aware of the fact that she was telling him constantly that his father did not love him?
No, never hear her say that.
Were you ever aware of the fact that he...
I was going to ask another question.
Your Honor, obviously, when she says she's never heard of this is in bad faith.
The first question was fine. Which, ask another question.
treats you like a piece of shit?
Your Honor, there's been objections to me. There's been objections to me asking these kind of questions, and I
Sustained.
object to her asking them.
Sustained.
When you heard her using profanities about Dan and Linda, did you ever hear her tell the situation was like terms?
No.
And you were aware that the defendant was put in jail for the visitation, right?
That's correct.
In fact, there were times when she did have a visitation, and she was not put in jail. There were no contempts filed against her.
I don't know that, other than the fact that she didn't go to jail again.
Were you ever aware when she was talking to the boys and using profanities, and her boys down one Were you ever aware of any circumstances when she had the boys and she had visitation of the boys, but she got angry for one reason or another and took them back to Dan's house when they didn't
No.
want to go?
No.
Were you around in 1985 and the boys would...
No.
You indicated that you did try to talk to her about the language that she was using and that it was not being helpful to her situation, correct?
I told her that it was only self-defeating, that she was only hurting herself by using this language.
And she wouldn't listen to that.
She said, and at that point, and I think she was probably right, that that was the only thing, that was the only outlet she had.
But you were explaining to her but that by using that outlet that it was obviously self-defeating. The psychologist.
So much of this to me is a waste of time because none of this is defensible. Like, now if he'd been beating the crap out of her every day, she might have a defense. But a divorce and she didn't get the money that she wanted and she didn't have custody of the kids that she just took over to his house and dropped off when he wasn't even home. That's not reason to kill somebody. I don't understand.
Whatever. Telling her it was self-defeating and she still continued to do it. Correct?
She used profanity, I will say. It almost became second part of Dan Broderick's name. I mean, it wasn't that you couldn't say his name without that word.
Okay. And you talked to her about the fact that maybe that was not appropriate around the children, for example. Were you ever aware of situations, for example, when she was in court and she obviously was dealing with Dan Broderick and wasn't using that name? She could control it when she needed to. At Francis Parker, around other people where she
Yes, she didn't have to, but when she was with her friends.
Isn't it true that there were times she did not use the bad language and there were times when she
sure.
did?
Oh, yes.
So she
sure,
had control over when she was doing it?
Not always. No, she had her public persona, but when she let her hair down and when she was with her friends, I mean, just like all of us, I mean, you control different things, but you let your emotions, when you let your emotions go, then it comes out.
You indicated that she was a very black and white person. She only saw things as either black or white.
As good and evil, yes.
Okay. No in-betweens. Couldn't see the in-betweens.
Right, on certain things, yes.
Wanted to get back at him, but she couldn't seem to find any way of doing it. Did you make that statement?
I think that she was having a hard time through the legal system. That's what I think I meant. It seemed that she felt that the legal system was against her.
Dan and wanted to get back at him, but she couldn't seem to find any way of doing it. You could just take a look at an investigative report, page 4, just the underlying section here. Did you make that statement?
Yes, I did, and I said that she was frustrated.
And when was the last time that you had contact with her? You indicated that you had contact with her over the summer of 1989, correct?
It became more and more difficult. Betty...
Excuse me, I'm sorry, if you could just tell me, when was the last time that you had contact with her?
Well, it depends on what you mean by contact. I saw
When was the
her...
last time you
I
saw
saw
her
her about a week or 2 weeks before November 5th.
Okay. You indicated that with respect to the problems of making plans or whatever for the weekends, there were no such problems during the summer in that regard.
No, I don't believe so, no. It was in... more of a depressive state and hiding from people.
Do you know, I mean, she was involved in decorating her condominium at that time. She bought a condominium, right? And she had
Yes.
hired another interior
Yes.
decorator to do that. So
That's
you
correct.
weren't, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump on your answer. You weren't involved at all in the decoration of the condo or what she was doing with the house during that period of time?
No.
And did you ever see Rhett or Broderick?
No.
I have no further questions.
Redirect.
Just very briefly, when you were were you ever present when she called a hotline?
No.
Okay. And did, at the time that you mentioned the incident with the psychologist or psychiatrist, was that incident that they wanted her to think nice things about Dan or talk nice about him?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Retried.
Well, when you're talking about talk nice things, you mean just not use the profanities around the children or talking sexually explicit terms, correct?
Well, I don't know. I didn't hear the exact conversation. The psychologist said, you can't see the children this weekend.
Nothing for
Mr. Early.
No, Your Honor.
Witness be excused.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Your Honor, I might have a short witness, as the court knows, but other than that, I will rest then.
Well,
I
you
don't
don't
have
have,
witnesses today.
okay, you don't have to rest at this point. I've already explained to the jury the witness situation. Just want to make sure that's, if you guessed the wrong way, I thought we might go into the lunch hour, and obviously we're not going to make it to the lunch hour. We'll take our recess at this time, ladies and gentlemen. As I told you yesterday, the attorneys and I will be doing some other evidentiary matters the rest of the day today. They have appearances not involving this case tomorrow, so we won't be in session at all tomorrow. On Monday, the attorneys and I will be doing further evidentiary that have to be done outside your presence. Please remember the admonition not to discuss the case among yourselves, nor allow anyone else to discuss it with you, nor form any opinions till it's finally submitted to you. And please continue the excellent job you've been doing so far of not watching, listening, or reading anything about this case. As you know, we're getting very close to the end, and I would certainly hate to lose any of you at this stage of the game. Have a nice weekend. Mrs. Broderick is present. Members of the public are present. We're here to go over the previously marked exhibits of the people defense exhibits. All counsel have met with regard to the exhibits and have reached agreement on some.
Knock it off.
have reached strict disagreement on the remaining.
Yay, it's Monday.
Mrs. Broderick is present. Members of the public are present. We're here to go over the previously marked exhibits, both the People's and Fence exhibits. The record should further reflect that all council have met with regard to the exhibits, and I understand have reached agreement on some, have reached disagreement on some, and are uncertain as of now as to their position on the remaining. I would propose that we start by going over those exhibits that everyone's in agreement on. Then we'll go over those that people where you agree that you disagree. And then with the third category, if it's agreeable with you, with both parties, I'll give you additional time to see determine what your positions are before we do those. Is that all right, Ms. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's start with the people's exhibits that are agreed upon.
Your Honor,
I have a list of them. If you, well, go ahead. Any way you want to do it.
I was just gonna suggest maybe it's on this table is what we agreed upon. If I just list them off and then you can cross them off your list.
All right.
Do that. They're not necessarily in order.
Well, that's all right. I can do that. If that agreeable with you, Mr. Ehrlich?
What's that again, Your Honor?
She says that everything that you, both council have agreed on, whether the defense exhibits or people's exhibits, are on this table. And she
Yes.
purports to just read off the number, and upon her reading off the number, they'll be received in evidence without objection by you as the people's exhibits, and without objection by her as to the defense exhibits. Is that agreeable?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's agreeable with the people?
Yes. Defendants separated?
Yes, I do.
Okay, 'cause,
Yes, I do.
so I'll start off. People's Exhibit 12,
All right.
People's Exhibit 26A,
All right.
People's Exhibit 26B,
All right.
20, People's Exhibit 20,
All right.
People's Exhibit 47, People's 26,
All right.
People's 23,
All right.
Spread. You know, Your Honor, that was brought in, and I don't know if we ever entered it. If we haven't, the spread, what we'll do is we'll stipulate that that's the spread from the set.
They stapled the spread, I think.
Well, what I can do, if you want, the People's 17 mattress pad, if you want, I can mark the spread that was over the 17A or something like that.
that's fine.
And both sides stipulate to foundation and authenticity. I can receive it in evidence?
Yes.
All right. 17A is the bed spread received.
Would that be marked with each day?
Yeah, mark and receive. I said the both parts today. Good.
People's 16,
All right.
13, 15,
All right.
Defense J,
I have no objection to you reading all his exhibits as long as he doesn't.
That's fine.
All right, well, that's fine. She's received.
would you like to read yours out?
No, that's, I just want to make,
Defense L,
all right.
Defense I,
All right.
H, defense K. No, that we have not decided on. People's 11,
All right.
Pete's 19,
All right.
People's 18.
All right.
Okay, defense triple J,
All right.
defense double J,
All right.
defense triple M,
All right.
defense double D is in bug,
All right.
defense double I,
All right.
defense triple B in dog,
All right.
defense triple E,
All right.
defense triple H,
All right. All right.
defense triple G,
All right.
defense triple B,
All right.
People's 24.
That was previously received. It was.
Oh, was that part of? It was? Oh, it was previously received as a computer. Defense triple C,
All right.
defense F. But F is a thing?
Yes. All right.
Defense double P. Double? Yeah, double P.
All right.
Defense double.
Tell me what it is like to.
Still G.
It's a letter
From
from
Donitz.
Dresden. All right, that's G. Double G to C.
Defense double F.
All right.
Defense double E.
All right.
Defense triple F.
All right.
Defense U.
All right.
Defense O.
All right.
Defense D.
All right.
Defense double Y.
All right.
People's 34.
All right. All right.
People's 66.
All right.
People's 87.
All right.
People's 99.
All right.
People's 46.
All right.
People's 28.
All right.
People's 98.
All right.
People's 75.
All right.
People's 36.
All right.
People's 37.
All right.
People's 59.
Previously received.
People's 44. People's 8,
44, then 83.
44, and then 83.
All right. Got both those.
People's 29.
All right.
People's 81.
All right.
People's 73.
All right.
People's 39.
All right.
People's 25.
All right.
People's 45.
Those previously received.
People's 111.
All right.
People's 65.
All right.
People's 80.
All right.
People's 56.
All right.
People's 72. People's 68.
All right.
People's 30.
All right.
People's 33.
All right.
Okay. Those are the ones we can do.
What about the red things? How about one? What? Yeah. And the ones with it in was, yeah, just the ones with the Japanese answer stuff, that's why I had to put on. Is this the one that we had talked about? Yeah. I thought so, but maybe not. Maybe I thought he must have put that later. Maybe not. Yeah, okay, that's that, all right. What? You want to omit this in here? Yeah, I'm gonna ask.
Get that at first.
Yeah, in case we.
All right. Did you want
Yeah.
you both stipulated the admission, right?
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
We got People's
You're
3.
on the screen.
All right.
People's 43.
All right.
People's 61.
All right.
People's 53.
All right.
Graveyard.
People's 67.
All right.
People's 54.
All right.
People's 22.
All right.
People's 8.
All right.
People's 2.
All right.
38.
All right.
People's 21.
All right.
So we didn't mark. I don't know what it would be. People's 62.
All right.
People's 9.
All right.
People's 7.
All right.
People's 1.
All right.
People's 5. People's 31.
All right.
People's 10.
All right.
And people's 64, I believe we have a stipulation as regards 64 to accurately, fairly text the condition of the bedroom, including the condition of the windows and shades, attached to the time that Detective DeGelder, now Sergeant DeGelder, came into the bedroom that morning on November 5th.
So stipulate, Mr. Early?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so that stipulation, you may want to renew that stipulation in front of the jury.
Yes.
All right.
Your Honor, and we have double H in all the numbers, but I think that well, wants to check the entries on it.
All right, how about these, split where you have it here, there's no objection.
No, Your Honor.
We've got a few more photographs of it as well.
I'm just going to move these back over here so they're
Sure, it's fine.
Jack, you're going to get some more.
We've got People's 32.
All right. Just move that. People's 4.
All right.
Very nice.
Remember the double mint twins?
All right.
85A.
All right.
85B.
All right.
People's 63.
All right.
Mark, this is the letter.
We didn't have that marked. We didn't have that marked, I should say.
All right. I believe.
I think we've agreed somewhat to the tapes as well.
Well, before I wrap it up, go ahead. Let's do the tapes.
Well, Your Honor, I mean, obviously the problems with the tapes is they've listened to the jury, to the tapes. I have another tape that hasn't played for the jury, and so I think my argument is attached to those tapes. I think that they're all in the same type of. My belief is that I know what the court's going to do. I think that they should all be talked about it.
That's fine. Well, they're going to receive, as I recall. I'm not sure.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead. Sorry. You're just saying you don't have an agreement on the tape?
I thought the innocent prospective counsel had marked as triple, but
Well, mine wasn't played in front of the jury, but the problem was the court just wanted to wait so she'd have an opportunity to listen to it. You know, obviously I'm in a position of That was the tape that was seized by the police at,
Those were the three messages that were contained in the Faro letter, if I'm not mistaken.
it's just a copy, yes, a copy of the tape answering machine that was seized from Mr. Broderick's home.
I have no problem with admitting that.
Well, Your
I'll
Honor,
listen to you as well.
well, I don't have, there are more than just messages that are listed in the Kafaro letter. If we're just going to be introducing the tapes, the copies of the tapes that are transcribed in that letter, I don't have objection to that, but there are other messages and there are, actually, I haven't heard the tape yet, but I believe that there's the voice of Linda on it after putting the tape on, which I think is irrelevant. So if we're just talking about
Well, we're
the
just
jury
talking,
actually hearing the messages that are transcribed in that letter, I don't object to that.
I don't know what else is on this, just three. Put anything other than those three in? Or
All I wanted to do is put whatever messages are,
the three messages in that letter?
I don't know that whatever messages are left on that tape by Elisabeth Broderick.
I have no idea, Mr. Early, I haven't heard it, but if I understood what you were offering or what you want in front of the jury, it's the actual message, those three messages that are referred to in the Faro letter that your client received prior to the...
Well, I'll have to listen to it. I know this is the tape that contains those messages. So anything that has to do with Elisabeth Broderick's voice on that tape,
Why don't we...
Why
don't we do it this way? Why don't, we'll not deal with that tape right now. I will tell you both that those messages, if offered by the defense, will be admissible. But maybe what you should do is take a clean tape and put those messages on a separate tape so that we don't have whatever else may be on there going to the jury.
I'm sure that I can have technical department do
But
that.
let's sort of listen to the tape first and see if there's something else he wants other than those three messages. Or I guess we got anything else at the end.
well, but I know that
That's what I'm objecting
what
to.
thing is, that's a tape that sees from Broderick home. It contains messages from Elisabeth Broderick.
All right.
I want just the messages from Elisabeth Broderick from that tape.
I
I
object, Your Honor, that because there's more messages than just the messages that are referred to in that letter. If we're going to introduce all of the tapes that were seized from the Broderick home with her messages, we've got a ton of those.
Well, but the problem is this is an original tape of the messages.
No, it's not. It's the same as, it's the same as any other where the messages were taken
No, but
and
I think-
copies made.
Well, it's hard for me to rule in a vacuum. Why don't we do it this way? Make a tape of the messages, the three messages that are referred to in the Kafaro letter. Those are clearly admissible. We can discuss later anything else on that tape as to whether or not it's admissible. But for sure, if Mr. Early wants those three in,
Well,
they are relevant, they're admissible.
I know that all the messages on that tape from Elisabeth Broderick, I haven't sat down with the letter, are all referring to the same time.
Well, we don't have any foundation on that.
But, so all we got to do is listen to them. I know that they all refer to the same thing about Rhett calling, being home. They're all the same messages about the same time.
Well, I'm in the dark, because obviously I don't know. If you two can't work that out, and you want me to listen to the tape and decide...
I think it's 30 seconds. The whole tape is 30 seconds. Oh, maybe however long, 30, 40 seconds.
Well, then why don't you two, or well, not you two, but why not, being you two meeting the two WDAs, why don't you listen to that and see if you really have any extra?
Well, we can do that.
All right, then with regard to the, I assume there's no objection to the other tapes at this point.
Well,
Or there, all right.
I mean, I would like at least to have all the tapes handled at the same time.
All right, I can do that.
That's fine.
That's fine. All right, then for now, that is the ones we've just gone through that were both people's exhibits and defense exhibits. Those are all the ones that both parties have jointly agreed can be received without objection by the respective sides. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct. All right, then all those are respective exhibits are received in evidence. Now, there are some, I believe, where you have agreed that you disagree, I guess is the best way to put it.
Correct.
You want to start with defense ones or people's? How do you want to do it?
well,
We can start with some of the defense, I guess. I have the same objections that I had last time with the bulk of the photographs. There's Elisabeth Broderick. There's this series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 photographs, and I believe that the photographs are cumulative, Your Honor.
Well, let's take a look at them one at a time. I'm sure I'll rule pretty close to the way I ruled last time. The ones in different time frames I think are clearly admissible, but we don't need several from the same time period.
Your Honor, if you'll just recall, at the beginning of this trial, there was an objection as to my use of the board and only putting on the board the photos that were admitted last time. Those are the photos that were admitted last time. Those were not, there was another 5 to 10 photos that I tried to introduce toward the trial.
Well, so don't try because it was cumulative.
Yes.
But it doesn't, these aren't cumulative as well.
Let's see if we can do them in some orderly fashion. A black and white photograph double in with 4 boys is received.
It's four children.
It's 4 children, I'm sorry. I apologize.
There are other pictures of the 4 children. I'm just curious as to the relevance of having more than one picture of the 4 children come in at different ages. There's another picture in there of Elisabeth, their 4 children. That one.
Let's back off on double M for just a minute. Let me get all of the pictures with the children, try to handle all those at once. And we have defense double A, which is Mrs. Broderick with red and the rest of the side. You object to that?
I object to it, yes.
All right, well, double case received. 2 boys with their dogs, that's double W. Objection to that?
You say.
That's because of my last name.
Yes, I object to the relevance of that.
All right, that's overruled. We've had testimony about kicking the dogs and that kind of stuff. That's appears to be relevant. That's received.
Is there double W?
Double W. All right, now we have 2 photographs. One showing the 4 children by themselves, which is double M. The other double M, the defendant with the 4 children. I agree.
I would also point out to the honor that it's People's 33, that is another photograph of the children.
They're substantially older, look pretty substantially older in that one than they are in these. And that was put in for a different reason. That's the one that has the X through it.
Yes.
Well, I think either of these would be admissible. There's no need for them both. Do you have a preference, Mr. Ehrlich? Would you like the color photograph or the black and white photograph?
Well, there is a different than those.
What's the children in this case? The age of the children is not mentioned. I can understand why, in your opinion, how your client may have changed appearance is an issue, but the kid growing up is not an issue.
The color one, obviously, Your Honor, is we would prefer to have.
All right, then we'll admit double X. Double M then is not received. Now we have a photograph, Ms. E. It's in your offering.
Yes, sir.
He's received. We have a photograph of Mrs. Broderick and Brian Ford's defendants A that would appear to be relevant. Do you object to that?
Yes, what's the relevance?
Well, it was testimony about he and those 2 being at a picnic together, etc. He identified that. Stand your own witness identified that.
Well, he may have identified it because it was shown to him by the defense and asked, is this a picture of you? But I don't see what's the relevance of them being at a picnic at some point.
Remember off,
photograph.
just really remember off the top of your head what, yeah, just go through my notes.
What, Your Honor?
Put the picture of Brian Ford and your client, defendants A.
What was the purpose of it, Your Honor?
Irrelevance.
Well, Your Honor, the relevance was that was one of the photos that showed at least the things that after separation, these were the things that there was some division of friends. And the other thing was, is, Your Honor, that and I asked, and Elisabeth Broderick testified that was a summer vacation, and she had testified that Dan had not taken those vacations with her in the past.
All right, A is received. Have a photograph of Mrs. Broderick during the time, I believe it was defendants AA, during the time that she was doing the child care. Is that correct? That's what that is?
I was working with some charity group.
What's the relevance of that, Judge?
Mr. Earl?
If we're talking about a change in the, there's no issue as to whether or not she worked for some charities, if we're talking about a change in appearance.
Your Honor, it's not an issue of whether they object to it or not. You know, I'll just go through all the stuff I agreed to. We didn't object to any of this stuff, and the picture comes in as proof.
I didn't object.
What I'm saying is that the only problem I'm having here, Your Honor, is that last time for each facet, and now you're saying, let's, you know.
I'm just, Mr. Early, for me to rule, I have to get both sides of the record. Don't be offended because I give you an opportunity to make your record.
Okay, I'm sorry. The record was that I was trying to show the facets of this woman's life, that she wasn't a mean, nasty, killing person. This was one facet of her life, and I cut down a number of others that were asked to do that.
This was your client with the Children's Home Society is what my notes show. All right, double A is received. Now we have three single photographs, or photographs showing only your client. They are obviously taken at different times because she obviously is of different ages. We'll start with Z, which is this one. It was obviously, I assume when they first moved out here, looks like she's considerably younger.
Yes,
I think that's appropriate. Do you have an objection to that as well?
Yes, the issue as it would change the appearance to post-separation. When they first got married, to me seems irrelevant.
Objections overruled. Z is received. Double L. Photograph taken of the defendant in July of 1985, which is right at the relevant time frame. I think that picture should be admitted. Do you have an objection?
Well, there's two other pictures of her in 1985. I believe that all three of them should not come in.
What are the others taken in 85, if you can help me?
That one that you're holding right there.
The portrait, that's double B.
And there's this one that's already been marked as 68.
Well, 68 and double B are pretty close to the same, Mr. Early. It's just a profile shot versus facial shot. They're both color photographs of your client. Why don't you show him 68?
They look like they were taken at the exact.
That's what I say. They look like they're pretty. I don't need both of them.
Yes. I
What
just
would-
indicated
Yeah,
people.
withdraw. I think he wants to withdraw double B and his client wants it back.
Yeah, I'll just,
Withdraw it without objection.
I-
All right. Double B is withdrawn without objection, ruled by the defense without objection. Double L will be received. And we have triple I, which is a photograph taken of the defendant in 1989. Any objection to that? Black and white photo, 8 by 10 black and white photo. Triple I is received. Have defendant's double C, which is a picture of Daniel Broderick and Mrs. Broderick prior to going to the Blackstone Ball, I believe in the late 70s, but I didn't write down the year. Objection?
Yes, I don't see the relevance.
Objection is overruled. Double C is received. The last one we have is Mr. and Mrs., well, I should say Daniel Broderick and Mrs. Broderick, double B, on a bus trip that appears to be at some time other than the same age frame she was in the other pictures. I don't have a date as to when taken, but it would appear to be a different time frame and would appear to be admissible. Do you object to this one as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, objection is overruled. Double B is received. All right, so all these photographs are received, with the exception of double M and the one that was withdrawn by the defense without objection. All right, other. Well, did you want to withdraw that?
no, Your Honor, they didn't understand the difference between withdrawing and that's not it.
All right. Okay, are there another, you want to continue, there's another group of defense exhibits that we have agreed to disagree, or?
Defense triple Q.
That was a letter that has a received stamp of February 16th of 86. The text you want to read, that's the top of it. Was it?
This is a that shows that there was contempt hearings scheduled before the contempt hearings that were on the board.
Scheduled with what to them? Is that
No.
the gist of it?
It just shows that there was a hearing and they were scheduled and that they were continued. I think that's a hearing where everyone attended.
It's a letter, Your Honor, to Judge Jones from Jerry Berry. It was copied to William Buckland and Daniel Broderick. It's,
Thought we had already dealt with all the items in the divorce file that you wanted me to take judicial notice of anyway, so I really don't see the relevance of this. I thought we went through that pretty thoroughly.
Well, there was some that there was some questions about whether there was actually a contempt hearing or not. This was a letter that there was actually a contempt hearing on that day. And the only reason it was introduced is because Mrs. Broderick was asked on the stand about whether there were other contempt hearings were had. I wrote her the letter and she identified that date on the letter.
Well, my next question is, should we handle this hearing any different than we handled the others, or should we just amend one of your boards to show another hearing? If there was another hearing, I should have taken judicial notice of. I mean, I don't think we had to handle them one way or the other. Either put in the documents or put them on the board, but I see no reason to be inconsistent.
I don't see Kate's another contempt.
It says, I scheduled a contempt hearing in your court on the day of the reconsideration of February 22nd. That was put off to another day.
Right.
The question asked Mrs. Broderick, these were the only 4 contempt hearing she went to. That's a contempt hearing she went to, just didn't go forward, that's all. But I mean, it was just another contempt hearing.
Well, is that on your date there of the hearing for
No.
reconsideration?
No.
I think it was
Contempt
just a
hearing.
matter of semantics. They didn't actually have the hearing.
That's the way to handle it, and that's the way we handle the others.
What's the date of that? Is that the 9th? There is one on here. Is that the 9th?
February the 9th.
Yeah, okay.
So it's already on there? All right. All right, then based on that, triple Q is not received. All right. What next?
I have the marriage encounter of the defendant that I'm objecting to.
What number, what letter is that?
Why?
That one?
This is a book that, even under the evidence from the defendant, was not even discovered until after the last trial. There's no evidence that she read it or that it had anything to do with her state of mind prior to the murders. It wasn't even discovered until after. There has been some comment regarding it by the psychologist. I think that it's like any other matter that the psychologist can refer to for forming a basis of their opinion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it independently comes in. Of course, I objected to the one for Daniel Broderick coming in as well.
Well, I left it for different reasons. We don't need to go into those again, but that was the book that she referred to both last time and this time that she consistently read to basically reconfirm her beliefs that she wasn't going crazy, etc. But Mr. Early, I tend to agree. I don't say.
Well, Your Honor, before, maybe I can tell you what the relevance is, Your Honor. There was a lot of cross-examination of Mrs. Broderick as far as her attitude towards Dan Broderick, the way she treated him during those years of the marriage. There were questions that were asked about that the marriage was never any good, that she was always problems with that Helen Picard had testified as to her being very critical of Dan and not loving him. And I think that when you look at the what you end up finding is that you have a writing of her state of mind during that period of time that's not written in contemplation of a homicide trial, and it clearly I think it is clearly relevant for the jury to understand exactly what she was during that period of time. It was definitely put an issue as to her attitude towards Mrs. Broderick.
Let me take that one under submission. I understand. I want to actually read it.
And I think it's nothing.
I'll read what's in there. As to Mr. Broderick's, I don't need his. That's well. I don't need Mr. Broderick's, but I'll reserve, check the contents. All right, we'll go on to another.
I object to defense AAA, which is a letter from Mr. Berry, from Tricia to Mr. Berry.
Well, my notes,
And it was-
that's one of those I put a check mark by that really nobody laid a foundation for it.
That's correct.
It's a 3-page letter dated November 15, 1988. And my notes indicate that at the time there was no foundation.
We do have a whole series of letters that were by both sides, and that was one that was given to her as in regards to problems discovered.
Well, as far as foundation, I object as hearsay. I believe it's prejudicial hearsay. statements by Tricia Smith, who's not been called as a witness at this point before the jury. And
Well, the only foundation was, do you recognize the letter? Yes, that was it. That's the only question asked on that letter.
Well, I understand that, but the questions right before that were about problems with discovery. Do you recognize the letter? So obviously there's a question of whether it goes in her state of mind as to...
Well, she testified that she felt, that she believed that there were problems with discovery. I mean, if we're going to mark this to come in, if we're talking about problems with discovery, then I also think that the deposition of Dan Broderick ought to come evidence, so that we can see what discovery was actually break down.
Let me take a look at the letter.
It's being offered for its truth, and it's hearsay.
Your Honor, it may be easy if maybe what we could end up, lots of letters shown on the witness stand for the purpose of refreshing recollection, and all they are is letters going back and forth.
Well, we'll do them one at a time, that's fine. I'm not going to make a blanket ruling on letters.
And I believe counsel's right. I think if letters are just shown to refresh recollection, then the letters don't come in. Whatever's shown for refreshing recollection, not come into evidence. But I think he's right. I think it works both ways.
I think it works both ways also. But I don't think we're doing that all letters.
No, I agree, because
This AAA will not be received. This is just one foundational question was asked. With I'm writing this letter, make a last final demand for discovery. Tricia Smith is the author of the letter and has not testified, and there's no indication as to what any response was. So I'll not receive AAA basis of lack of foundation. If you want to submit or whatever, make a better foundation. Next.
defense double T.
All right, that's a one-page letter, January 28, 1986, from Mr. Broderick to Mrs. Broderick.
Yes, and I just,
I'll withdraw, Your Honor. I don't remember why it was introduced at the time.
All right, without objection, Ms. Wells?
yes.
All right, let's move on.
I guess we have several diary entries. I guess we should deal with them all at once.
Well, I think you need time to review those, don't you, anyway?
Well,
those are the ones
some
that-
have already been marked.
Oh, okay, well, let's do the diary all at one time, if that's all right. All right, we'll get,
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes.
Defense triple K. Simply a letter that.
one-page document response to the defendant's offer to settle in 1987.
Correct. It was written by Ms. Smith to Jerry Murray, copied to Daniel Broderick.
No, you mean it was written by Charles?
Yeah, back to the next one.
I'm relevance of it first.
Well, one problem I noted at the time was that it doesn't have a whole lot of meaning unless we know what offer was rejected.
That's right.
Because I saw the problem with that at the time, and I don't recall anybody ever marking what the offer was unless I missed something.
That has not been marked. It was my, if this is to come in, then I would want to introduce the offer. And
I think that, in fairness to everybody, I think that has to be. It doesn't do much good to say I reject your offer if we don't know what we're rejecting. So this is your exhibit, Mr. Early.
well, I'm going to need to put the defendant back on the stand to identify her offer.
Well, she may, they may stipulate that. That's why I'm going to ask Mr. Early not want to put this in. I don't know. That's,
Let me talk to my client about that. I just have to go through the testimony and see. I'd like to look at the transcript and
All right.
see what the questions were asked surrounding that.
all right, I'll just reserve ruling on that for this. All right, what's next?
There's this W, which without reference to the details is the, I'd like to approach sidebar with respect to this letter.
Well, I know what that letter is, and that letter is not going to be received. That letter can be marked as a court exhibit or just left as W not received. Has identified many witnesses.
Well, it was identified.
Witness said he received it, but didn't adopt any of the contents and had nothing to do with the writing of it or the drafting of the contents.
I understand the court's ruling, and I'm sure it's the same as it was last time.
Well, this letter wasn't an issue last time. Are you-
No, I'm saying that the last time we had it before the witness.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, so I'm not going to argue any further unless for some reason it becomes relevant.
All right, so W is not received.
Your Honor, on the exhibits that are not being received but have been marked, you still want your clerk to have those?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Most certainly. Absolutely.
Well,
The only ones that either lawyer can take are those that have been withdrawn by stipulation.
Defendant's Exhibit T, which was a letter regarding Kim. I object to this on hearsay and relevance grounds. The defendant never testified about anything to do with this. Merely identified the belief by Kim.
That would have been during Kim Rogers.
It's a Tuesday, January 20th, 87, two-page letter. According to my rough, I was just trying to find where it was identified. This was on October 22nd. Kim Goddard identified as a copy of the letter that Mr. Mr. Broderick had sent to his brother Broderick. Do you want to make an offer of relevance, Mr. Early?
Yeah, my offer of relevance was, Your Honor, that was in regards to her testimony that the relationship with her father, and I asked her about it. Was that the way they communicated? Was she upset about that?
Let me see the letter if I could.
And I believe there was some testimony that she had wished before that was sent.
Yes, I recall that.
There was no testimony that Elisabeth Broderick knew anything about this or was upset about it in any way.
No, and in fact, it starts out personal and confidential, so it's pretty obvious this wasn't going to be distributed. The only copy went to Kim. All right, T is not received. Not being relevant.
The defense double O. There are a series of letters from Danny and Rhett to Elisabeth Broderick from camp.
7 pages of letters, and that's another one that I put a big question mark by at the time it was identified. Let me see what.
Did you want to see the exhibit?
Let me just check my notes I took at the time also. See, that was on November 4th. By Broderick and her boys all camp. I noted to myself I didn't see the relevance there. My notes were that they just were offered to show the boys liked and missed their mother. But I don't think there's any issue as to that, is there?
Defendant's SS also goes along with that. It's another letter that was marked separately, but same thing.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the letters.
SS.
Thank you.
Probably. Do you see your head top?
I have reviewed double O, the letters. They're actually, they all start out with "Mom, I miss you very much," or "Mom, I miss you a lot." I don't think there's any issue with that, is there? They're offered from some other person.
They were brought in last time, and the problem is that during this period of time, and Elisabeth Broderick testified that the kids went to camp without any choice from her, and she was upset that they were away during a time she wanted to see them. We're obviously writing to her, asking for things that we normally ask the caretaker for. Which she wouldn't have been at that time.
What was the time? None of these are dated, and I don't think mine.
Those are, Your Honor, I believe those are 86 because there's a note in there that they're being kept, that they're going somewhere else for an additional 2 weeks, and that's when the bifurcation order was done.
But clearly written from camp because they have a camp address, road arrow camp address. They're of marginal relevancy, but there certainly is nothing inflammatory. I'll receive double O. This is a letter from my notes, is a letter that he wrote.
That would have been in 85, I believe.
And you object to double S on relevancy grounds?
Yes, Your Honor.
Some of these, I'll receive it if you really want me to, but some of these your client may just want to keep. I mean, this stuff, let's be honest, you would think she keeps some of this stuff for herself. I don't know. I mean, it's just cumulative to what the boys' letters say.
Your Honor, I'll withdraw it.
It is a cute little letter, you know. All right, I assume that he can withdraw that without objection?
Yes. And I thought that the court had already ruled on this when we were at sidebar and not to be admitted, but I don't know.
That, yes, I did.
Okay.
And also never identified, there was never any testimony allowed as to this, so he has not received.
At this point, Your Honor, I've got a few more that I'd like to review before we talk, so maybe Mr. Chairman has some we can deal with now.
All right.
Your Honor, I do have an objection to 112.
112? Did read your article, January 1989, and I'm not quite sure of the relevance of that either as well.
Well, she testified that the thing she was so upset about was the comment that Mr. Broderick made in this article. And the fact that it ended with the comment about it's not going to end until one of us is gone. There was direct testimony regarding that. And I think if there's going to be testimony regarding the effect of this article on her, only fair.
Well, and she said it's also indicated being open, but then the part's not be open.
Right.
I haven't read the article, so I don't know if that's in there, but there was testimony in that regard.
The fact there was problems and objections with it being closed and with the reporters wanting to write an article and the defendant's allegations that Mr. Broderick was going to sue them if they did, and therefore nothing got written. And this is the article that did get written.
The testimony was that, and she was correctly, that there was a watered down article written that did not the article that originally she talked to him about was going to be written. full of hearsay, and it's full of the reporter's conclusions as to who they either think is at fault or things about their opinion as to what's going on in the case. There's obviously no difference to that in any other letter that was shown to Mrs. Broderick, say, wasn't this said in this article or wasn't this said at this time?
Let me take a look at it if I could.
And there are areas that have been highlighted. Council and I, you can, any documents that have been highlighted, we'd obviously be giving a clean copy to the board.
This really tests my eyesight. This is fine print. Would you shrink this about fourfold?
Yeah,
And I'll give me a minute.
get it on that size paper.
Well, how about if I take this under submission? This is
Okay.
not your standard 2 pages. This is quite a bit of small type. Is that
Yes, Your Honor, and it's the same as the other exhibits you've talked about, is we don't have in letters that were written to the various papers and things.
Well, those would be,
Well, I don't like getting in the
right.
idea of lumping things. Let's do them one at a time. All right, I'll take that one under submission along with the,
What was that number?
that is 112, People's 112. And let me make myself a couple notes here for a minute. Okay, Mr. Early, what's next?
Your Honor, 105, which is a letter dated July 11th, 1986.
You know, that was just showed to her to refresh her recollection as to the date that she might have pulled an antenna off the cars. And upon seeing it, she said she remembered the date, so I don't know what the relevance would be.
Well, that was my recollection of that letter.
There was no denial that she pulled the panel, she just threw it in the drawer.
My recollection too is that he had made a request that she communicate with him in writing. And that this letter confirms that.
That she made a request.
Maybe I misspoke, that he made a request that she communicate with him only in writing at this point.
Did she deny that? I don't recall that testimony. You have to help me out here.
She drew a bunch of letters and would say, didn't he do this? And she would say, well, that's the letter, yes.
Well, the only thing I wrote down about the letter, as I've just told you, is a letter dated July 11th, 86. To refresh memory as to when the antenna was pulled off the car. And Mrs. Broderick made the statement, I'm surprised you have that letter. I thought I tore it up. And for a letter just to refresh her memory as to a date, I fail to see the relevance to that. So that is 105 is not received.
104, which is the court order.
Now, that was a minute order about returning the group wedding list and all the testimony pointing to having that because there's definitely a conflict as to whether she had returned it to the marshal in the courtroom or not. But, 104 will be received. That's a court.
Your Honor, there was 89 and 90.
Let's start with 89. That's a bill from Adelaide's Florist, December 31st of 85. Refresh my recollection, Ms. Wells, what the relevancy was of that. It was
The defendant had denied using the word cunt at any time prior to December of 1986 when she received the note that she believed came from Linda. And this letter is dated December 1986 with the code cunt.
Your Honor, there's a problem with that, though, Your Honor. We don't know when she received it or when she sent it.
when she wrote that on the bill.
No, but we do, Your Honor, and that's why 90 was marked, because People's 90, which is dated January 4th, 1986, which was sent back to her, she acknowledged receiving, refers to her comments on that Adelaide's bill. I can show it to you. So she had to have written that on.
Let me say that my note I made at the time in 89 was that the defendant explained that she wrote that on there, but she didn't remember at what point in time.
Right.
So you're saying 90 explains the point in time?
Yes, because then I asked her to identify 90, which is the letter that Dan Broderick sent back to her referring to that.
You see 90 was the rose through. That clears it up and this would appear to be relevant. Just need to see 90 really. Objections overruled and 89 and 90 are received.
Number 70, Your Honor. From Mr. Broderick, I think it was.
From Mr.
Oh, excuse me,
Broderick.
that's correct. It's to Mrs. Broderick from Mr. Broderick. That's correct. That is the letter that, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the one about get the furniture out of the garage? You're only give it away?
Yes, this is the letter that she referred to as a threatening letter.
Yeah, I think that's objection is overruled. That's received.
What number is that, Your Honor?
70. Yeah, that's an order of the court modifying a contempt sentence. And again, I think that's in the category where I almost have to take judicial notice of court orders.
Well, Your Honor, other than just the order, there's also the language of the judge that's in there.
Let me take a look at it.
I mean, there's been testimony that he modified the
The language that's referred to in that order by the court is also referred to in another exhibit, or it refers to another exhibit. I don't know by number right now, but the letter that was written.
Well, the one thing it says is that the sentence is not being reduced based on respondent's letter to the court, which apparently was attached to the original order as Exhibit A. And there has been at least an inference that she was released because of the the letter she wrote threatening to turn Judge Joseph, the
I think so right
council judge,
now. But he usually looks after.
whatever that said would appear to make it relevant, Mr. Early.
Your Honor, I have a real problem with that because the court, that is real protectionism of the judicial bench here because the court has admonished the jury if there's a question asked and there's a denial of it, there's no evidence of it. So in inference...
Let me take this under submission, and I don't know if Judge Joseph's, when he was testifying, he said he had the letter. I don't think anybody...
The letter's been marked, and I'm assuming...
I don't know if it's that. There's another letter from Betty Rod Joseph, from Mr.
Well, in fairness to both of you, I think if I'm going to put in one, I should put in the other and not put either one in. I mean, they both talk about this talks about the letter. Apparently the letter is marked as another defense exhibit.
That's correct. It has the same language that's quoted in there.
The reason I introduced it, Your Honor, they only introduced page 4 of the letter. So I introduced the first 3 pages of the letter. That was the one where Elisabeth Broderick said, I wrote that at the direction of Patricia Smith. Prosecution entered on page.
Well, you're have all pages, and I guess is if you're going to put the letter in, then I think journalists would have to put this in, or otherwise we don't put either one in. I don't think that one side gets their exhibit in and the other side doesn't when we're talking about the same incident. So I'll leave you two to just tell me how you want to go. Either I'll receive both of them or not receive either one. But they're tied together, and I don't think it's fair to put in half a loaf. And for the record, what's the exhibit?
It's a triple L.
All right, 6 and triple L. I'll wait. You two discussing those further. Is that Rick?
Your Honor, that's not the letter that was not in court order, but numbered here. And I'll have to look for it, Your Honor.
Well, you don't have to do that right now, Mr. Early. You two can get together on that, but I've made my position clear. Can you break? Sure. I'll take a recess, stay for 5 minutes. We're recessed.
Your Honor, just on the exhibits that we were just talking about, People's 86, which is the court order,
Yes.
and then Defendant's triple L, which was the letter.
Triple L.
And then both of those will come in. Both of those will come in.
Can you break?
Both of those will come in.
Just like a transition of the black, or did I imagine that?
I've made my position clear.
We'll do that. We need to stop because we gotta go. I'm bored for one. Oh, I just noticed something. I'm gonna forget that I wrote that there. I'm gonna ask you guys a question in a minute. There's a show on Netflix called Rebel Royals. Has anybody seen it? Time out emoji. I don't know. I'll think of something. Rebel Royals. It's a documentary. So it's supposed to be based on a true story, but it's like, I think it's Norway, some royal in Norway who I guess is divorced with kids, marries some shaman from LA who is actually gay. So he's gay, but he's marrying a female royal from Norway. And it's a true thing. It and the person that described it said it would be like Meghan and Harry if they were funny. So, I really want to watch this. But I don't have Netflix right now. Has anybody seen it? If you have, please tell me if this is good. Any of my replay crew or lurkers, if you've seen Rebel Royals, please tell me in the comments if it's good. Because I really want to know. Because I don't want to get Netflix and find out that this thing is stupid. But I only heard it described as this royal from Norway marries this gay guy from LA. I want to know. And she said if it would be as if Harry and Meghan, but funny. So I don't really care about the royals. I just and it's not England royals, it's Norway royals. But I just think it sounds funny. But if it's crappy, I don't want to pay for Netflix again. So okay, so that's it for Betty today. Why am I still showing the trial? It's Monday, y'all. And I only had one day off this weekend, so I'm tired. Okay, so now we are going to go to, I started to say Florida. We're out of Florida now. We're going to Tennessee to the Baby in a River trial. So this will should redirect you, and I will see you in a few minutes if you're going to join us over there. If not, I will see you again in the morning at 8. So, bye.